everyone, and thank you for coming down to the Tewksbury 4th of July celebration. This is our country's 250th anniversary, and we're down here to celebrate and enjoy all our freedoms that we get each year. We probably have about 250, 300 residents down enjoying free ice cream, free food, and we're having a great celebration. The kids are having a great time. The weather's excellent, and we're just glad everybody could come down and enjoy it.
Yeah, this is a great event. This is my second year, and I'm going to keep coming back because it's so much fun. I brought my daughter today, Maeve. She didn't know it was going to be so hot, but it's a beautiful event, and I love watching all the kids eat all these things, all the pie and the watermelon.
We're having a great day to celebrate our 250th anniversary of our country. We're so lucky to be here. Thank you so much.
And again, I just want to thank Mark Kratman for putting this event together every year. I know it's a lot of work, but seeing the crowd today, that it really paid off. And everyone have a safe and happy 4th. Thank you again, Mark.
Everybody enjoy their 4th of July. Have a great holiday weekend. Be safe and stay hydrated. Thank you.
Yep.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Evelyn Thoren. I'm your host this morning. Nice, bright Thursday, July 9th.
Doesn't seem possible. Just
time is just rolling.
Phew.
Never mind what month it is. It's what year it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And Sam Chase is my co-host. Thanks for getting up extra special early, even though I know you do get up early, but driving in is another thing.
It is.
John McDonough's behind the camera. We have Vivian Merrill scheduled to come in around 7 o'clock. We can talk about things insurance, other stuff.
That's a very depressing topic, but we can talk about it.
Well, yeah, there may be some new stuff. You never know. There may be some stuff that John thinks of to ask her again. And then she wears different kinds of hats, and she's actually been on vacations and stuff. Maybe we'll ask her about the locations and see whether or not there's any recommendations that she might have for us. Our opinions are our own. Could be somebody else's, but they're not reflective of any of the opinions of any of the boards or any of the people that are on the telemedia on the bottom or any of the other media that we happen to go through. And we are not a scripted show. This is live. There are no edits, deletions, pauses. We're not 10 seconds behind time in case somebody says something they shouldn't say.
They do that on the radio, don't they? The talk shows?
I don't know. We can certainly ask the phone and find out.
Yeah. Well, John knows. I mean, on the radio talk shows, don't they have like a 7-second delay or something like that?
On radio?
Yes and no. They can get sued. They tell me that WCAP's delay is broken. So whatever you say goes out,
well, that
goes
doesn't
out there.
surprise me.
When you call, the biggest talk show is on C-SPAN every morning.
Right.
It's on right now, and there's no delay. Whatever you say, it goes out there.
But that's C-SPAN. That's just the way they
operate.
No, that's the right to free speech.
Yes.
Right. But the point is, if you want unbiased stuff, then you have to watch C-SPAN because there's no political slant one
Now,
way
Sam,
or the other.
I'm looking for your car. Is it behind the tractors, in front of the tractors?
Oh, no, yeah, no, keep going, yeah.
No, the question was, are you in front of the tractors or behind?
Behind.
You're behind the tractors.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can't find you.
Really?
Yes, a bunch of talk people come on right after this.
So, 4th of July, obviously. 4th of July was over the weekend. Last Thursday.
You guys had a toasty day, but you had a great crowd.
Yes, and Glenn ran the road race
And he
and finished. He said it was very, very hot, so he had to walk some of it because, I mean, he is getting kind of older. And my middle son ran the road race. My youngest one.
Did he finish? Did
Yes, Phil finished ahead of Glenn. I don't recall whether or not anybody else in the family ran.
My granddaughter ran, Violet.
Yep. Well, I don't do that. I never did. I thought about it a few times, and I was like, I don't know. And then I got on school committee, and then I walked it. So,
Do you have to get sponsors?
no,
Okay.
no. You can do your own little fundraising thing if you wanted to,
You don't have to.
but you don't have to.
Gotcha.
You mean for the
Road race, yeah.
Well, it does. It costs $30. If you're under 12, it's $20, and you get a shirt, and that covers the shirt and the number that you get. So
Sam, why don't they have long sleeve shirts? I don't wear t-shirts
long sleeve shirts for what?
with the logos on them. It's a t-shirt. I don't wear a t-shirt.
Well,
Well, they've never done long
that's a
because
good
it's been so
question.
hot.
I guess that's the answer. It's the summertime, and you know.
Again, summertime, I don't wear short sleeve shirts.
Well,
I have short sleeve. I'll wear a short sleeve shirt if it has a pocket. But t-shirts, no. Nope, don't wear them.
yeah, but that's a good point. Usually, the logo stuff is either a jacket or it's a T-shirt of some sort.
Well, we're watching the parade, and one of the things in the early part of
I'm
what you
just looking for.
I know.
Sam.
One of the things that you saw when you first came on were the tractors. And I sent you via text an ad for the Parley tractors. There's an event going on this coming weekend, which we can highlight a couple of times. I saw it on Facebook this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So Parley's Farm in Chelmsford is doing some kind of tractor event and blueberry festival and whatever else is there. And so when we get around to it, we'll put up the flyer that they created that is on Facebook
Now,
if
Sam,
you don't
these
have
companies,
access.
They roll for free?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
The only that was cute. The only people who pay are politicians who are running for office. So if it's an election year for a politician, then they pay a fee to get into the parade.
Yeah.
But everyone else is free. The parade is largely funded through sponsorships and the sale of the banners that you see hanging on the lamp posts and the telephone poles and so forth. The banners cost $500, and they cost about $60 to produce. So you get a profit of $440, and that goes to fund the parade.
Now, Chester Telemedia take a drone flight showing the banners?
I don't think they did,
That might be something interesting.
but you know what?
You should do that.
That is a good idea, and I'm going to pass that on to Pete Padula. Now that,
Because the Chester cops have drones.
yes,
They probably do it
do.
for you.
They do. I don't even know if Telemedia has a drone. Oh, yeah, well, yeah. Well, you know what? They do. I do know that they have drones, now that I think of it. But what they have is they have a camera that's mounted in a bucket. That's a 56 Lincoln Continental.
Wow.
Okay, 101, so we're almost at the end of the parade. That's one of the few classic cars that actually made it. I started all of them,
That's a
and
nice
most of them
shape.
dropped out because of the heat.
Oh, yeah.
But this guy took my advice. You know, I told the guys an hour before they're running their engines. I said, shut your engines off. I said, don't start until 9:55. And I said, you ought to be able to make it. So the Lincoln guy said, that's a good
okay.
idea. I'll do that. You know, and the rest of them said, you don't know what you're talking about. I get that a lot. A lot of people tell me I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I find that stupidity.
Yeah, so, okay, we're almost there, 105. These are the last vehicles, and then this fella with the 71 Oldsmobile Cutlass, that was a beautiful car.
I had a 72.
Yeah, same thing, right there.
Yeah, I had a
And
72.
he's
Looked
got the
like
hood
that.
open. He's
Yeah,
running
and
hot.
that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You open the hood and you crank up your RPMs about 100, okay, so you don't get the vapor lock. And then,
Glenn wanted to buy me a 72 Cutlass so we could redo it. I said, no, I don't need another vehicle.
well, I think you should let him do it.
Oh my God, he's got to get rid of some. We're running out of room.
Well, okay, get rid of the what's that other one? that
He
you
got to
have?
get rid of the Malibu, and
The Malibu,
if you
right.
could help him try to figure that out, I'd appreciate it. Certainly not going to get rid of his.
Got to keep the number plate, though. You got a 5-digit number on that.
I know, but I got to figure out where I'm going to transfer it unless I transfer it to my dad's car.
Well, give it to one of your kids. Give it to Philip. Well, he's the only one living in Mass, so.
Well, no, Glenn does, but he doesn't need to do that. He could put, but he doesn't have well, I don't know. I tried to get my dad's old number, but they wouldn't give it to me, so I had to get a new plate.
Why? What number was that?
I don't remember. It was whatever he originally had on his license plate.
Oh, was it
It wasn't a vanity. My father wouldn't spend the money.
well, that's the way I feel, too.
I mean, Glenn has a low number plate on the Mustang, 69T. So, it's the only lottery I think that we ever won.
I actually put in for the number plate lottery this year, which I've never done. I figure, what the heck, if I can get a nice number for the Dodge Dart, I will. All right, we're almost there. Okay, that car behind, that's our car. Just so you saw
The next
front
one?
of- Yeah,
The next one?
yeah, but, okay, so you have to watch for my granddaughter. That's the parade car. There she is. That's Charlotte, wearing a parade committee shirt. All right, and then and our youngest member of the parade committee, Miss
That's it?
Charlotte. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Keep going. You've got one little final clip. There she is.
That looks nice.
That's my granddaughter.
Uh-oh, okay. Beautiful girl.
Yes, she is.
So I in the text I sent you the thing about Polly's, just an ad.
I'm looking at this right now, but I'll get
No,
into the
I'm
text
just
when I'm done with
reminding
this
you.
thing.
I'm just reminding you.
Okay, I didn't forget yet.
That's on the right is Jeff Hardy, who's on the select board, and then in the middle is Lynn Marcella, who's announced the parade for 20 years, and then Kelly Beatty on the left, who is the former head of Chelmsford Telemedia.
Jeff looks a little toasty.
Jeff looks toasty. Yeah, well, he
He walked it.
well,
Well, he wrote it.
well,
I don't care. He looks how hot it is.
It is.
yeah, he had to march the parade, but he rode most of it in a cart, but he did do some walking.
He's doing really well.
Oh, he's doing very well. Oh, there's the Olds again. That's a beautiful car.
So I'll start it. Let's see, how long do we need for the break?
We had
Right there, after Milltown.
We had 108 units in the parade, which, yeah, I thought that was pretty clever. The guy in the bathtub.
There's a lot, and there's
It's amazing what people come up. Oh, and Christopher won the float contest. We had a float contest. Oh, he had a beautiful float. It was unbelievable. Christopher's towing. And first prize was $1,500. He got that. Second prize was, I forget the name. It was one of the dance studios. And then the third prize was Mahoney had a nice float with flowers. So it was $1,500, $1,000, and $500. Those were the prizes for that. But Christopher's float was just unbelievable. It was just
So
unbelievable.
Evelyn, not this guy.
nope, not that one.
No.
That one.
Okay.
So apparently there's a tractor day that's going to be in Chelmsford. That's this Saturday. I can't read that, but in free admission.
Try to blow it up and it won't blow up.
There you go. We can put it on 20 past 2 if
Yeah.
in the next hour.
They've had this for some time. They've done this for a few
9
years.
a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
135 Pine Hill Road, Chelmsford. They've got all kinds of different things that they'll do.
Parley.
Yep, and Old Mill House Coffee will be selling their iced teas, lemonades, cookies, and snacks. So I think it's nice because I know that, is it Charlene? Caroline.
Caroline Parley.
Caroline Polly has organized a lot of stuff and taken over a lot of the
Yeah, she's
growing and,
she's doing the farming.
yeah.
We took Payson last year. He loved it.
Yep.
Sat on all the tractors and, yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. So one of the other things, we always talk about weather, and So it's very nice out. We had a lot of rain the day before yesterday.
Yes, thank
It's
God.
funny because everybody complains about it, but anytime that somebody complains about it, I basically say you don't have to shovel it. So we need the rain, we need all the water we can get.
Yep.
Because without it, we're not
dead.
going to be around. And so as far as weather goes, I mean, worldwide, you've got tremendous heat waves in Europe. But when you take a look at history, there's a lot of that happened a century or more ago.
It's all cyclical.
So this
yeah.
is all cycles, and everybody seems to want to blame it on pollution, but pollution is a different situation, especially when the oceans have issues with regard to that, and so there's definitely changes there. One of the other things is there's a lot of activity, earthquake activity, that's in the Pacific. And we had that tremendous earthquake that was in Venezuela.
Oh, yeah, that was awful.
And you've
Terrible.
got different things going on. I mean, you've had in Pakistan, you've had them. I mean, there's a lot. But one of the articles, I didn't forward it because I just figured I'd mention it, that I read on Google was that China has been planting trees, billions of trees. And in monitoring them, they're growing quickly. And part of the reason...
What kind of trees? All kinds or just...
I have no idea. They
Okay.
didn't say what kind of trees they were planting. But whatever it is, they're creating more forest. And
Which is good.
Right. And they did that because they wanted to try to avoid having a lot of the dust and sands and whatever it is come in from the west. And they wanted a barrier to it. But because of the location... it's not, it could be subtropical, I don't know. But they're growing rapidly. But in studying it, they're studying now a different way of forestation, not deforestation, but forestation. Because with the additional CO2 that they think they've measured in the atmosphere, that's part of the reason the trees are growing quickly, is because they're being fed what they need in order to grow.
This is why vegetation along the side of major highways grows so quickly, okay? So it's you're right. I mean, the plants,
Well, they need the CO2.
they breathe the bad stuff and they pump out the good stuff.
That's correct.
You know?
So they've created a carbon sink without, I think that's what they
Yeah.
call it, without it
Makes
being
sense to me.
intentional.
Yeah.
Of course, what China does on other environmental things is ridiculous. They're creating a lot more of their own islands and filling in the ocean, and they don't really care what they're doing as far as having their data centers underwater, which means that you have a lot of heat generated with regard to that. Data centers is another controversial issue because in many of the articles out there, I don't know how accurate they are, they're using a lot of water, but they're also using a lot of energy, and as a result of it, the urban and suburban communities that are around these data centers are showing a great increase in their electrical bills.
The grid can't, I mean, the grid as it is now cannot support the data centers that are planned in the near future. And this is one reason why I think their data centers have been told you can or should develop your own electric generation situation, because you can't be on the grid because you're going to take too much capacity away from that. And if that's the trend, I don't see how we're going to avoid nuclear. I don't see how we're going to avoid it, because I think for the power requirements that we're going to need 25, 30 years from now, I think we're going to need the nuclear. And it's too bad that the wackos killed the nuclear in this country, because if we had developed our nuclear capabilities the way some of our European friends did, we'd be in good shape, in terms of the power grid. But, it's too bad. But I think hopefully enough time has passed that people will rethink this, and we will once again take a look at developing our nuclear resources, because I think that's the answer for the power. And it's just, we'll see. Of course, I won't be around, but my grandchildren will be, so,
I don't know why this doesn't come up.
What are you looking for?
I was trying to, the Mayflower, the one that's in Boston, there's going to be, I was looking for the ad.
The ship?
Yeah. So there are going to be tall ships
Yeah.
coming to Boston, I think it's this weekend. And there's, you can go down, obviously. You can go on the boats. They have tours.
Have you
So-
been on the Constitution?
No. My children have,
Yeah,
because they did that
that's-
through school.
yeah,
But
that's
that
a
wasn't
great-
something that we ever did when I was in school.
That's a great
When
thing.
I was in grade school, we went to Sturbridge Village.
Oh, sure.
We went to the Museum of Science. We went to the
Yep.
Museum of Fine Arts. We did a variety of things along that line, but we never went on a ship. I think sometimes it's liability, and it could be that at that point in time they didn't do the tours the way they do now, because that was 60-plus years ago.
Oh, I don't remember. Yeah, they didn't really do that back then.
Right, but, we did do different kinds of field trips in grade school. We did them when I was in high school, just depended on what it was. I know one of the things that we had as a field trip, several field trips in high school. Natick High School sponsored some kind of a troupe that put on the Shakespeare plays.
High school kids did the shakes?
No, they were adults, but the
Oh,
high
oh.
school sponsored
Okay,
it.
I get it. All right.
And so every time they had one, we went, because in our English class, we did study Shakespeare. Because,
And the Shakespeare plays are a lot easier to understand if you see them acted out as opposed to reading them, because the English is, of course.
right. I mean, we
is,
saw Macbeth, we saw
16th
Othello, we
century
saw As
English
You
is
Like It,
harder
we
to
saw,
understand.
we
Yeah.
saw a lot of them. And they were done very, very well.
Yeah.
And I looked forward to doing more, but apparently, whatever happened, we didn't go see some of them. Obviously, it may not have fit into the schedule, and it may have been money, who knows? But that's something that is a vivid memory from high school, is seeing all of the Shakespeare plays.
You know, it's funny, you talk about the high school back in the early 60s when I went, and we did, the school, and I went to a public high school in Concord, Mass., Concord Carlisle Regional High School, and they sponsored a lot of people to come in for assemblies, and I remember vividly, good morning, how many electric vehicles were in the parade? I don't know the answer to that, but what I don't remember any 100% electric vehicles in the parade.
The little golf carts are usually electric.
Okay, that's true. We had 4 or 5 golf carts, but we did have some hybrids, okay? We did have some hybrids. The Chelmsford police cruisers are hybrids. So, and I think a couple of the fire service vehicles are hybrids.
On a different note.
Yeah, on a different note, if you don't have forest control and don't clean up dried brush, it will have a big effect on the environment. Absolutely correct. Yeah, that's forest management is very important. But there are some people out there that don't ever want you to touch a tree, and that's not right. The poster there is correct. You have to manage your growth in your forestry, right? And you have to thin out the trees and, do all this other stuff, so.
Well,
Yeah.
one of the things I would say decades and decades ago that I read, I haven't seen any of it since, but this would be days before internet, that when the forests burn, and that cleans all that up.
Right. And you can have it occur naturally. I mean, forest fires are started by lightning strikes.
Right.
Right?
So
So,
the only reason we try to fight them is because there's usually people that live there.
right.
The other thing that comes is when you do that, now everything starts up all brand new again, and the ashes are part of the fertilizer.
Right.
And some trees need that extensive heat to break the seed coverings, so you have new ones.
I did not know that.
That was something that's bad. I'm going back 50 years, 60
Well,
years.
you got a good memory. If
So-
I was ever taught that, I'd certainly forgotten it.
I'll have to look it up again, but that was one of the things I thought was very interesting. It's one of those checks and balances that's in nature.
It's just amazing when you look at how dependent, or interdependent, I guess the word is, everything is in nature, and you take one thing out and it throws a lot of other stuff off.
Well, true,
Yeah,
and that's why,
so-
you've got predators, and if you're
Right.
trying to control that, or you're trying to take them out, then man is interfering with the natural course of nature. Now, we also interfere because we bring invasive insects, animals, and plant items, among other things, into this country because we're global in what we have on that economic market, and things sometimes will jump rides, like the fruit flies did for a while there in California.
To your point, a lot of it's inadvertent. I mean, people don't do it, but things hitch a ride. I mean, for years, and I'm going to guess they still do it. When merchandise is shipped into the United States, a lot of it's on wooden pallets. There's a whole customs enforcement process about how wooden pallets have to be constituted, they have to be treated specially, and so on and so forth, to make sure that the insects.
And yet we still have them.
Right.
Right, because I know that in New Hampshire, anyway, a certain type of pine, and then there's another deciduous tree, have either a fungus or some kind of a scale or an insects that are killing them. That particular species, the variety of
One
plant
thing we have
life.
not seen in several years in this area is the gypsy moth.
Yeah, but they are there.
Oh,
They
yeah.
just they haven't become
Well,
a
here's the-
huge problem. What we have is lanternfly.
The thing with gypsy moths is that if you get 3 consecutive days of over 90-degree heat, that knocks them out.
Oh, we have that,
Okay, and we've had that the last several years. We've
Yeah.
had 3 or 4 days, and
which is a good thing.
yeah, and that knocks them off. So that's probably why
So
we.
one of
haven't
the
seen
other concerns there was make sure that you are washing fruits and vegetables very well. There's a parasite that has attached itself to some of that,
Oh,
which
and also
has
the
issues
chemicals, right?
with. Well, you should. I mean,
Oh.
we can go into the details. We won't right now. We'll do that in another segment. But the whatever this parasite is, it's really bad for your digestive system. And some
Now,
people.
What kinds of fruits and vegetables? All of them? Or?
I would just say all of them. I mean, it's things that have been imported. There was an article I didn't forward it to you. People can look up whatever it is that's going on with. It's not a recall. It's just for people to make sure. And then you also have some kind of a tick-borne illness, so that if you eat meat, you get sick.
Oh, God. No matter what you. Quote from my father: "No matter what you're doing, it's wrong."
Well,
Okay?
that's
he always said that.
it's interesting to speak about what you can eat or you don't eat. So last week was the 4th of July. I wasn't here. Sam had some other things going on. And mine was basically because I had to get ready for the 4th of July. And there was just a lot of things to do. And Glenn said, don't do city life. Just do your stuff, pace it. It's hot. We're going to have to do this. And we had a whole list of things. So that was fine and dandy. I had a meeting with my mother, for my mother on the Tuesday, on the 30th. And so I...
Your 105-year-old mother.
Yes, I saw her yesterday. Feisty as usual, doing very well in comparison to maybe some other people that might be a lot younger, like one of my friends who's in my age bracket that is not well at all. But anyway... So I saw her, I went up to the lake. Whatever I ate or drank Tuesday night, by the time Wednesday noontime rolled around, I had hives like you would not believe. So I drove back to Acton Medical. I got prednisone, antihistamines, the whole 9 yards. I mean, I was swelling up. I mean, it was like, what the heck did I do to myself? I'm a lot better today, that's for sure.
Do you know what caused it?
I have an idea. Because the week before I had got stung by multiple bees. And I think I had a very depressed immune system. So under normal circumstances, for what I usually eat and drink, I have minor reactions. But because the immune system couldn't handle that, I think that's what happened, was the major thing.
And you said you had multiple stings, not just one. So.
No, I had like 5 on one foot.
Yeah,
I had
that-
I had
yeah.
my old sneakers on. They
That
had
would do
holes
it.
in them, and the bees got the yellow jackets got in the in the shoe.
And the yellow jackets are the absolute worst of all.
Right.
The
So I also
stinging
learned something
insects.
for people
Yeah.
to look up if you get a bee sting. I'm not allergic to bees, but that doesn't mean I won't be in the future as a result of this. First thing I tested was, am I breathing? And is it labored? And do I feel my throat closing? And the answer was no. But when I got in the house, I had Glenn get me ice, which helped a lot at the beginning. And then he couldn't find any Benadryl or anything in the house. I think we have it all at the other house. I don't usually take anything anyway. I'm not a pill taker. But we did have Dayquil, and I said, well, there's got to be some kind of antihistamine stuff in that, even though I have no idea if it did. But so I took a big swig of Dayquil just in case. And it was Dayquil, not NyQuil, because other than that, I'd gone to sleep. So I was trying to use what I had and my knowledge thereof. But when everything, because like I said, it swelled up, couldn't bend my toes, swelled up my ankles, couldn't bend my ankles. Walking was very interesting. But the one thing that I was looking up was, what are the natural things that you would use? So my sister-in-law had suggested something. We went to Walmart, and I looked at the ingredients on some of the things she recommended. It was sodium bicarbonate, and sodium bicarbonate is baking soda.
Yep.
And
Pretty basic.
the last time I bought baking soda, it was 80 cents for one of those little small boxes, and this was like $5. I says, "Oh,
What, for a box? $5?
No, 79 cents for a box of baking soda, but $5 for this stuff that my sister.
Oh, okay, all right.
It was
I was
sodium
gonna say.
bicarbonate. The only ingredient in it was sodium bicarbonate. So when I looked up different things, certain types of bees, you would have vinegar. You would put something acidic on it that helps the sting and everything else. Other bees, you would put sodium bicarbonate on it. So the vinegar is acidic, the sodium bicarbonate is base. And so I made a paste and I put it on it, and it like took the sting right out.
Amazing.
It still itched a little bit, but I had Benadryl gel, I had cortisone cream, and so it all seemed to work out the week before. As far as
Baking soda. It does so many things.
well, people used to brush their teeth with baking soda.
My father did. He brushed his
Until,
teeth with
what was it? Was it the Rockefellers or somebody developed toothpaste? And the
Toothpaste,
fluoride's
well-
not necessarily good for you either. That will react with certain people's thyroids and things. You want to look up all this stuff if you're having certain issues. It may just be something simple that you're using every day.
My mother always kept an open box of Arm & Hammer baking soda in the refrigerator.
Right, it absorbs odors.
And it does work, because I've done that with old cars. I put a couple of boxes and spread it around, and it does work. It's amazing.
We had an apartment when Glenn went back to get his PhD back in the late 70s. And I took a box and I sprinkled it throughout all the carpet.
Yeah.
In order to take the odors out of the carpet.
And it works.
I put it in the kitty litter box. So I've used baking soda for quite a variety of things. Also, at this time of the year, everybody's seeing what they call weeds. Not everything is a weed. It is if you don't like it or it's not in a place you want it. But a way, instead of using all the chemicals that they have, you can make your own weed spray, and that is with vinegar, a few drops of dishwashing detergent, like Dawn, and in a gallon of water, and some salt. But what I did was I took the salt and I just spread the salt on the bricks, and then I just hit it with the vinegar, and it pretty well will take everything down. But it decomposes because it's one of those hydrocarbons that will do that. So you want to, and you have to watch with that, just like with any of the weed killers that's out there, that you don't get it on any of your perennials, annuals, and it doesn't leach too much into your lawn.
I'm sure that works, but I'm just very old-fashioned. I dig them up.
I have too many. They're in the bricks. They're in between the bricks. It takes forever.
I spent an hour and a half last weekend digging them out of the bricks, and because I cannot stand the way they look.
Right, but if it's really hot,
it drives me crazy.
Yeah, because I know where
Yeah.
your walk is. But if I have the pump sprayer, and
It's a lot easier.
the pump spray is a lot easier. So I wait till the sun is hot, and as soon as you hit it with that vinegar, everything's dead, and it doesn't come back for a while either.
I'm going to try that, because I'm getting too old to be stooped over digging weeds out of my bricks. All right, it's 5 years ago it was okay, but now it's at age 79. It's getting a little old, and I'm tired of doing that.
So there's all kinds
so
of
I'm
little.
going to try that.
Yeah, there's all kinds of little things. You dilute the vinegar, but sometimes I just hit it straight. And vinegar has increased in price, by the way. It used to be $1.99 at Market Basket. Now it's $2.99
Okay,
a
so
gallon.
you're the chemist. Tell us what vinegar is.
That's acetic acid.
Okay.
But it's a very weak acetic acid, because if you have the real strong stuff, it'll put holes in your
So
clothes.
the word vinegar, I'm not a chemist, but I do know something about language, so I will tell you the word vinegar is a corruption of the French vin maigre, which means sick wine, okay?
Well, yeah, because the wine,
That's what the word means. Vinegar is French for sick. Vin, V-I-N, is wine, and aigre is sick wine. That's what vinegar is.
yeah, I took French.
So
I took a lot of French.
Why didn't you know that?
she did know it. You knew that, right?
No, I didn't know the
Oh.
French word. I didn't know the French definition.
Vinegar.
I know what vinegar is, and I know that when
So it's sick
in the
wine.
Bible, when Christ was on the cross and they gave him the wine, that was really vinegar because it spoiled, which is going to lead me into another little thing that people may or may not want to know. It's created by fermentation. So you got to get yeast, you got to get sugars, you got to get a bunch of stuff, and you can make the wine, and then you can do the vinegar. And
But the vinegar starts out as wine, correct?
the white doesn't. They make it artificially.
Okay, all right.
So, well, they don't make it artificially. They make it from grain. And that's the distilled white stuff that's in the gallons. And then they make, because everybody uses vinegar for all the cleaning things, there's a huge list of
Great
stuff
for
you can use it
washing
for.
windows.
Yes, it doesn't streak as much because you don't want to use ammonia, because ammonia will create and ammonia is also a base. It will create a cloudiness on your glass.
Well, and that's the problem with, the commercial cleaners, the Windex, they all have ammonia in them, all right?
Generally speaking, or you can use alcohol.
I use, for my window cleaner, I use a 60-40 mixture of distilled water and alcohol, and it works beautifully, no streaks.
So when I had a lot of ice on my windshield and trying to come here, I get a spray bottle of alcohol.
Yep, absolutely.
Because what it does is it lowers the freezing temperature.
Correct.
And when you lower the freezing temperature, things will melt. You can, in salt, a lot of people, they add salt to water. It will raise the boiling temperature, so things will also boil at, they still boil at, 100 degrees centigrade, but it just is a lot more because now you've got all this other stuff that's in there. I'm not going to explain the chemical process because
Well, with salt,
I want to lose people.
yeah, with salt, you've got hydrogen
Do you think
and
you already have?
I have no idea. Anyway, there's all kinds of little things that's out there that you can do. I've made my own white and red wine vinegar because I don't throw anything away. And if people have, trying to think of the apple cider vinegar, the organic stuff, you add some of that. You can use that as starter to make your own vinegar if you want to. So there's a bunch of different things. And what I also, because of the reaction that I had, you want to take a look at, if you're drinking wines, in a natural chemical process, there's sulfites in them. But sulfite is also used as a preservative. So if you're taking a look at drinking anything, and I think that's what my reaction was to the sulfites in the wine last week, then you want to try to get organic stuff where it's naturally occurring versus what it is that is added to it. So everybody needs to be careful about it. I said to Glenn, wine doesn't last that long in our house, so therefore I don't need to preserve it.
doesn't last that long in your house. All I know is that when you and Glenn come over, Candy's always very concerned about having enough and the right.
Right, well,
Kind of
I have to change
wine.
that up. I'm going to change it up for me
And
because
of
I can't
course,
drink it
she's,
anymore.
my wife, to be fair, she's a wine drinker, so there you go. I don't generally.
Well, it's
drink
not
wine.
like you're going overboard.
No.
You get together socially,
Right.
and you have dinner, and you compare
And
your
have some
wines,
wine, right.
and that's it. I mean, it's not like we're getting together for a drunken orgy here.
No, we don't do that. No drunken orgies.
No drunken orgies with the Chases and
No.
the Thorns. No,
Yeah,
none
let's
of
get
that
that.
stuff.
Let's get that on the
Right.
record right away.
Right? Yeah.
Is that because of age?
No.
Yeah, well, it might be,
No, it's not because of age. So, a couple of other really quick things. If anybody had treasury bonds or thought they had them when they were growing up, there is, you can take a look and do some research online and see whether or not you've got anything out there that you can cash in. If you've had any kind of, at least in the state of Massachusetts, every state has it, if you leave your accounts, savings account, checking accounts for a period of time, and there's no activity, the bank turns everything over to the state. So now you've got to get your money.
The minimum time is 1 year. All right.
Oh, they decreased it. It used to be like 3 to 5.
Well, they're not required to, but the law allows the bank after a year. Most of them will go longer than that.
Right.
But,
So that is, what
Right.
it does is it prevents from what used to happen, where people would get a savings account, somebody wouldn't find it, and by the time they found it, it was worth hundreds of thousands of dollars
Right.
because of the compound interest.
Right.
And so the bank doesn't want to carry that because
Nope.
you also have an increase in the number of people that's out there. When we talk about the banking industry, please be cautious about wanting everybody to go cashless society, because now the government can control every single thing that you make and every transaction that you have. You don't
Well,
have,
that's the idea,
regardless
isn't
of
it?
the regulation. Well, we were going to talk about socialism versus communism,
Yeah.
but we can do that maybe near the end
Well,
of the
that's one of the
program.
reasons, I mean, because of the inflation that we've experienced over the last 50 years, the currency is now a problem, because a dollar today, a dollar bill, buys what 10 cents bought in 1968, okay? Think about that for a minute, all right? And so you would think because, and this is what other countries do, you would think because of the inflation and the reduced value of the currency that they would now add, I mean, so in other words, what I'm just said is a $100 bill today is like a $10 bill back in 1968, okay? But that's the highest denomination that you have in circulation. When we were kids, they had a $500 bill,
And the thousand.
and they had a $1,000 bill.
I never saw any of those.
That actually circulated. So my thing is, well, they should bring those back, okay? But they don't want to do that for two reasons.
Well,
The first reason is,
When did you talk to these people? Because as far as I know, they don't say anything.
who?
The people you're talking about. What they gonna, how
The
do you
guy- I'm
know what
talking
the
about-
Treasury's doing?
Well, because of what they're doing and what they're not doing, okay? So they don't want to bring back the bills, and this
Why
is.
don't they want to bring back the bills?
And this is historic. I mean, this isn't, this has been going on for some time. If they reintroduce the $500 and the $1,000 bill, then it is an admission that we've had all that inflation, and we know where inflation comes from. The government generates it, so they don't want that information going around in people's brain. And the second reason is because of what Evelyn said. Really, the push is to get away from cash as a exchange medium. They want everything on a
Well,
credit
that's why they
card
created the debit
or
system.
a debit card. Right, that's what they want. So, and you're not 100% in control of that situation, which is, not good. I don't.
I got 5 texts here.
Oh, good.
Good morning. How many electric vehicles were in the parade?
yes, we heard that one.
We had
That's
that
all,
one
never
already.
mind.
Yeah. Most people don't realize that if you have a boat and put it in different bodies of water, that has an effect on other bodies of water. Why don't you speak to that?
Well, that's relatively simple because usually the engines are cooled by the water that goes through it that they draw up. And if you have, if you go from fresh to salt to fresh, you really need to flush the salt system out of your boat.
What about the
And then you also have milfoil.
right?
You have other
you go.
things that if you go from lake to lake, you want to make sure that before you put a boat into another body of fresh water, you don't have anything hanging off your boat.
So you want to wash down?
Yes,
the
you got to
hull.
wash down how we have pontoons.
Right.
And so you have to be careful about that, because I asked Glenn about taking the boat, we have a pontoon boat out in the ocean. He said, you really shouldn't because of the way the waves and stuff are. But he said it's really hard on the engines. I said, well, what about
absolutely.
the jet ski? He said, same thing. You got the water cooling, going through, and the salt water is highly corrosive.
You wouldn't put salt water in your automobile cooling system.
No.
okay, and it's the same thing.
Right, because it's
basically.
corrosive.
Right.
So you have to be careful what you do. And you really don't see, unless you're in Florida or someplace, you really don't see that many pontoon boats and/or
Move them right along on the texts.
on jet skis out in the ocean. I had a rosy maple moth in my yard. I don't know what they are. The other day in Drake, it pretty cool looking.
What is a
I don't
rosy
know.
maple
You can look it up
moth?
and put it up.
Never heard of it.
A combination of baking soda and hydrogen peroxide to form a paste to brush your teeth can whiten your teeth. Yes, and it's less expensive than teeth whitening
Yep.
products sold in
Yep.
supermarkets. The other hydrogen peroxide is another thing that
Yep.
is a highly useful item, along with the vinegar, the baking soda, and even ammonia for that matter. I could never understand a professional athlete using a smelling salt, even though they are not passed out. Well, they got to be extremely alert. So if they have any overshadow, there's a term for it, I don't know what it is. If they feel funky, ammonia is the smelling
Right,
salt.
right.
And that's enough to jolt you.
Oh, my God, that'll wake
Now,
you right up.
if you want to clean out your sinuses, use
Yep.
horseradish or wasabi, which is a Japanese horseradish, and that will definitely do that.
Horseradish.
Yeah, yep, horseradish. You
That's
can,
interesting.
instead of because what it does is it whatever is in it, it will work its way right up into your sinus cavity. I mean, it makes your eyes water.
Yes, it does.
So a lot of people can't do that either. So there's a lot of inexpensive things that's on the market that you can use, and some things obviously that are more, I will use the term loosely, organic versus what it is that man has created. That's out there. There's a whole new way of looking at what you eat, what you don't eat. The medical community is going to try to reduce numbers so that now you have to take more drugs. Brief conversation about blood pressure. It used to be that, 120, 140 over 80, if you get up into the 90s, that seemed to be okay. Now what they're doing is they're saying we want you to be down around the 120 over 80 or less, and most people aren't. The older that you get, you don't want low blood pressure. It creates more probability of falling.
I'll say it again. No matter what you're doing, it's wrong.
Now, the other part is statins.
Yeah.
There's a lot of side effects for statins. I was on them roughly for 2 years. I came off of them. That's why I remember everything. And people don't understand this cholesterol stuff anyway.
I don't understand
At least
it.
I can now at least lift my legs and go up and down stairs. I mean, the difference is night and day. I'll deal with the higher cholesterol, but they've lowered the numbers on the cholesterol, but the older that you get, they're saying that there are no, according to some of the stuff I read, please don't take my word for it, please do your own research, that the older that you get, you need to have higher cholesterol simply
Oh.
because of what it does.
Well,
Not
that's good.
high, but I'm saying that they want it down below 200, and they want to get it now down to about 150, but they don't understand, or they're not caring about the fact
Right.
that the cholesterol is something that helps your brain, it helps your muscles, and some people have a lot of side effects with that. That's because shouldn't be taking it at all.
So there are
It's a-
different kinds of cholesterol, though, right?
Well, you've got the HDLs, the LDLs, and then you've got some other pieces to that. And then when you do the lipid panel, when they do the blood work, they're just doing general stuff. They're not doing the specific things that will really help you out. So if you're really interested in all of that, please do your own research out there on what tests you should require or request of your
Well,
doctor.
Talk to your doctor.
Because there's two types of the LDLs. There's a sticky kind and then there's a fluffy kind. And the difference would make the difference whether or not you're going to get a lot of plaque. So that's all that stuff that if anybody wants medical stuff, I am not a medical.
No wonder people shut themselves in their houses and don't come out. I mean,
Oh, isn't that pretty?
yeah, okay, a rosy maple moth, never heard of it. Very interesting.
I've never seen one.
Move over to the right so we can, I think it has.
It says fun fact.
Okay. Day flying
Hey,
moth.
Vivian.
I've never seen the thing.
No,
Or
I
if
haven't
I,
seen
or
it
if I
either.
have, I didn't know what it was. Okay.
Yeah, very interesting. So there's a couple of other things that I thought
Maybe
that,
Vivian knows about the rosy maple moth. You ever heard of the rosy maple moth? No, there you go.
neither have I.
No.
So when we were talking about food, there was a couple of things that I thought was interesting as I scrolled through. Oreo is going to bring back the cinnamon bun flavor. Oreo cookies.
I never knew they had it in the first place.
Well, they've
I
had,
saw that.
Yeah, I mean, you started with the regular Oreo with the chocolate. Then you went to the ones that don't have chocolate. Then you went to the ones where now you add all this flavor stuff to
I
it.
never
You
tracked
had
it.
strawberry.
To
you
me,
had
an
mint.
Oreo is the 2 chocolate cookies with the white stuff in
Yeah.
the middle, and that's an Oreo, right?
Right, but now they
Okay.
have unbelievable numbers, and then they have
There
limited
you go.
editions of what the different flavors
Oh,
are.
God.
They had birthday
Since they
cake.
started making them in Mexico.
Oh, really?
The
The
Mexico
Mexicans?
cook, my granddaughter Morgan calls them Mexican cookies.
All right, so the Mexicans screwed
Creative.
around with the
Flavors.
flavors then, right?
Huh.
That's,
look that up.
Since they moved to Mexico, they've done all kinds of unique things with Oreos.
that's amazing. The other thing that you sent was the article on Dairy Queen, which I found very interesting. And again, that's one of those things where the headline is not supported by the text. So you read the headline and you think, oh, these folks are all going out of business. Well,
Right, it
that-
isn't.
That's not
No.
what happened.
But the reason I gave you that article
I thought it
is
was very
because there was
interesting.
another one that I had
Yeah.
that talked about that Dairy Queen had all kinds of different sundaes.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, there were Dairy Queens.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't have Friendly's ice cream. You didn't have Baskin Robbins. You
No.
didn't have all of this
No,
stuff
the
that
Dairy
everybody
Queen
had.
was it.
You had Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of air in it because how else are you going to make your money? So
Well, they really were the ones that kind of pioneered that whole soft serve ice cream.
because they
concept.
could do it fast.
Because that's really what the Dairy Queen
Yeah,
is, right?
right.
It's a soft serve.
Right. So
Yeah.
years ago, and it
I
was
always
funny when I
liked
read
it.
the article
Yeah.
because now it's a deja vu moment. Years ago, they had different kinds of sundaes,
Mm-hmm.
and so they had this particular sundae that had melted marshmallow and hot fudge on the ice cream,
Mm.
and obviously you could have either chocolate or you could have vanilla,
Yeah.
and so I remember eating those growing up. Not often because we didn't have enough money for that. My uncle would take us for a treat. And the Dairy Queen was on, I think it was on Adams Street in Quincy. And I don't even know if it's still there. Of course, Dairy Queen did branch out, and eventually, they had like hot dogs and odds and ends of things. But growing up, when it said you can request it,
It
but
was
you
ice
can't
cream.
request it by name. If you go to Dairy Queen and you're in our age bracket and you had these things as kids, just tell them what you want in the ice cream and just pay for it, because they don't have it as collective. And even McDonald's has the flurry. They started with certain things because they're thinking about can they add to their base of making more money. So, but Skip's ice cream, my understanding is they make their own, and there's one in Tingsboro, and there's one
Skips.
not Skip's. Skip's is gone.
Sullivan.
Sullivan Farms. You have that in
They don't,
Tingsboro.
no, they don't make their own. They use Richardson's ice cream.
Okay, so they used years
The only-
ago. Did they ever make their
Yes,
own?
they did. Up until about 25 years ago,
Oh,
they all
jeez,
did.
am I out
They
of
all
touch?
did. In fact, I remember the Boston Globe back then. They ran an article, and they tested all the ice cream, and they said that the best ice cream in the area was Bedford Farms, which is out of Bedford, Mass.
Which is
okay?
now owned by.
Don't know.
It's owned by
But
the one in Westford. What's
Okay,
the one in
Kimball's.
Westford? Kimball's.
All right.
Kimball's bought Bedford Farms
when did that happen?
a while back.
Did not
I'll have to
know
look that up.
Look it up.
because
I did not know that.
Glenn and I, when
How
we
do
were
you like that?
when Glenn and I were dating, we'd go to Bedford Farms.
Okay, so maybe now, because Bedford Farms switched about 15 years ago, they switched over to Richardson's, not making their own. But now we've just found out that if Kimball bought Bedford Farms, it's a good bet that they're making their own ice cream because Kimball's makes their own ice cream. So the Kimball's outlet in Westford is the main office, and then you have in Carlisle, that used to be Bates Farm.
Oh,
when
it
I
says
was a
it's
kid.
not owned by the.
Oh, it's not?
Well, that's what this says. AI. I thought Kimball's bought it out.
Okay, well, I didn't hear
So
that.
Kimball's owns their own.
Yeah.
Westford, Carlisle, Lancaster, and Jaffrey, New Hampshire.
Correct. They
And
make their own
then
ice cream.
The
Yeah, that's true.
and the
They do.
Venutis run Bedford Farms out of their original shop on North Road in Bedford and their second location in Concord.
Yeah, and
And
that's,
they're actually competitors.
they're
Somebody
still
told
there.
me.
Both locations are
Yeah,
still
somebody
there.
told me that one bought out the other, and apparently they
No.
did not.
Well, we always, when Bedford Farms was making their own ice cream, we liked that. And
It's
but
also
they-
high in butterfat.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with the Richardsons. Richardsons is local in Middleton. okay? And a lot of the stands.
It's time for a taste test.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, Oreo, one of the best cookies invented. Hydrox, I 100% agree.
Oh, yeah, there's something to it.
And one of the running arguments that I used to have with my
gosh, look at
mother
this.
when I was a kid, and I used to argue with my mother a lot, right? She, for some reason, always bought the Hydrox brand. And I'm sorry.
cheaper.
That's probably why she bought it. I could tell the difference as a kid. You could tell the difference between the Oreo and the Hydrox, and the Oreo was far superior, in my opinion. Do they still have, apparently, if we're going by this poster here, I'm going to guess you could look it up, they still have Hydrox.
Let me do that. I'll look it up
But
now.
I did not like those. She bought the Hydrox. I did not like that.
How about the Zarex Punch?
I remember
Absolutely.
that.
Oh, absolutely. To the panel. Remember Zarex? Absolutely.
That is the
Absolutely.
original chocolate cream filled cookie that was created, Hydrox, in 1908,
So that.
4 years before Oreo.
Oh, so they were I did not know that. They were the original.
They are a darker, crunchier chocolate wafer and less sweet vanilla cream made with real cane sugar and no high fructose corn syrup. So maybe they're better for you.
Maybe it's better
and maybe
for you.
that's why it tastes different.
I never liked them.
No, well, I don't eat it anyway.
I like the Oreos better.
So the modern recipe are certified vegan, non-GMO, and kosher. So if you want a more, it's not organic in quotes, but they're better than Oreos for you, apparently.
You can't get Hydrox?
Well, this thing here,
Yeah.
let me punch it up for you guys to-
Well, based on what Evelyn just said, it sounds like Hydrox is a healthier version of the
If you had to have
Oreo.
healthy.
If you could say,
So
Yeah.
Hydrox cookies are sold where?
okay, get them.
Cracker Barrel.
Okay, get them through Amazon. Okay, look, what?
Yep,
can't-
that's it,
what
and
can't-
online.
What can't you get through Amazon?
We won't go there. Local Cracker Barrel Old Country Store locations online via Amazon. So apparently they are no longer.
Hydrox.
Yep, I remember them because my mother would buy them.
I never realized they said Hydrox in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was Oreo has Oreo in it.
Yep.
So we've pretty much covered some of the food stuff. I brought some stuff in today for John to try, which we can talk about in the next hour. One of the big things in New England is the fact that Graham Plattner dropped out of the Democratic race in Maine, and we'll
You
see.
mean he was pushed out?
He did things he shouldn't have done, and he shouldn't have been in to begin with, based
I
upon
agree
what
with you
the
100%.
philosophy was of the Democratic Party.
But the Democratic machinery decided that he could not win, and they pushed him out. Just the same thing that happened with Biden.
Yes.
Same
That's what I said to Glenn last night when he
Yeah.
came up and he said, "I hate to ruin your day, but he dropped out." I said, "Oh, good."
Well, who are they going to get now? I mean, I think
Well,
Collins.
they'll
I think
find-
Collins will probably be reelected.
They may actually do Janet Mills again, but because she's on the ticket, but or could be. But I don't know. They're going to scramble, and we'll see where
Well,
that
she
goes.
would be the logical choice, wouldn't she? Mills?
Yes, because she was
Yeah.
the one that originally did. She just ran out of money because they wanted to put up a progressive. Doesn't mean all progressives are great and lovely and wonderful.
She's 80 years old.
Doesn't mean that she doesn't have a brain. Somebody came on. Who was it?
She's too old.
There
Trump
was some.
is too old. Biden was too old. Mills is too old. These people are too old.
I'm not going to go there with
Markey
age.
is too old. And he stood up in a debate with Moulton the other day, and he says, "Well, I promise this will be my last run."
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe that when I see it.
Yeah, well, he doesn't know how to do anything else, and man never had a real job.
And he doesn't really live in Massachusetts
Nope.
either. And anyway, so that's
I'm gonna read this one, and then we're gonna go to break.
All right.
Well, I can get up on the screen here.
It says Turkey Hill peanut butter. Turkey Hill peanut butter cup ice cream, hands down, is the best. I'll take your word for it because I like peanut butter.
I don't like peanut
Another
butter ice cream.
question: Fig Newton. Yeah. Oh, I hate Fig Newtons.
Oh yeah, but I don't.
How about
But
you?
when
Can't
fig-
stand them. Sorry.
Well, you don't like figs.
No, I don't.
Okay, so I really like figs, and
Oh,
I
there you
made fig squares, and John really liked my fig squares. And that's easy to make if anybody wants to make your own fig squares.
If you like the concept though of the fruit in the cookie sandwich, they do have cherry Newtons. Okay.
Oh, they do now? I
Yes, they
liked
do.
the strawberry ones. I can eat the whole package.
And they do have strawberries. So.
However, I do have
yeah.
a weakness for pecan sandies, but I don't buy any prepared cookies
Figs.
because of all the ultra-processed stuff that's in it and the GMOs. So I make my own. and then I make it up as I go along. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, Vivian will be with us, and we'll chat about stuff in Chelmsford and all the little hats that she wears. And
Sam's granddaughter. I'm going to hit play here.
Yep.
Where is the play?
One for Charlotte, the youngest committee member.
It was built in the height of the Depression. It has a 13 horsepower engine. Wow. And it's 75-inch wheelbase. This is the Dirty Water Brass brand.
And they are sponsored by Wild West Landscaping. Thank you.
Or 64. Oh, this is a beautiful Continental here.
1956 Mark II.
Driven by John Cronin and accompanied by his family, Megan and Julia.
Dirty Water Brass Band was also sponsored by McDonough's, who've been very supportive over the past few years.
Hey, let's hear it for the Chelmsford Girls Softball League. These players learn fundamental softball skills in their league. Their fields are up in near Final Square. They typically have spring, summer, and fall seasons, both in-town and travel teams. And they want to give a big thank you to all the parents that make their league possible. This is a Japanese mini truck called a Kei. Very popular in Japan because they get in and out around traffic. There's a little dump truck here. I wonder if the DPW could use a couple of those.
Great looking. So we're at the end, and we saved probably one of the best groups for the end. Everybody has raved about Funky Carnival the past couple of years, and they are back. So please welcome Funky Carnival, sponsored by the Chelmsford Business Association. Association float. The Chelmsford Business Association is a group of local businesses dedicated to Chelmsford and the surrounding community. One of our goals is to achieve tax parity with residents. We are, as a group, taxed without representation. Businesses do not get to vote in general elections. Happy 250th birthday, Chelmsford.
Voice in the distance, asking different questions, making comments, and adjusting whatever's going on the screen in front of you. Our opinions are our own. They may be somebody else's opinions, but they certainly are not the opinions, or they may be, but we don't know. But it doesn't reflect any of the opinions of the people that are in the telemedia in the towns that you see at the bottom of your screen, or on Facebook or YouTube or whatever it might be. And it's an unscripted show, unedited. It goes across live. Whatever we say, we can't take back. Even if we wanted to.
Has that been an issue?
No, but I want to make sure that people understand, because when you see news broadcasts, they have a monitor and stuff, either the person that's saying the stuff or somebody else has written the whole monologue or discussion and the points of the questions. Stuff will come up, and then there's new things that come up, and you got to be really, on your toes to catch it all. But it's on a monitor, and the only monitor we have is what you people see out there in the TV
There's
land
no
or whatever,
editing
or on
at
your
all.
phone, and it's just us. There's nothing else in
Make it
here.
up as we go along.
Exactly
Yeah, pretty
right.
much.
Make it as we
And
go along.
I used to do agendas, and then nobody would do any research on it, so I send articles, and I send pictures, and I send all kinds of stuff out there, so that everybody is on the same page, if they so choose to do so. So, we can first start with insurance, and then we can end up talking about Chelmsford and all the other stuff that you do, if you'd like to do that. So I know John had questions as far as insurance goes, but are there any new regs coming up? Or getting deleted, or changed, modified, or anything in the insurance industry?
Evelyn, very important this morning is food. Are you trying to make me
Ooh,
fat?
that looks
What are you-
good.
No, but I had a little bit of everything, and
Is
that's where.
that pineapple upside
Yes.
down? Oh,
And then, then on the little V thing, that is my Swedish apple pie, and then I made an apple walnut cake
Look at her go.
with
so you
a
have
cinnamon glaze.
So John has a smorgasbord of dessert.
Well, it'll be gone by the end of the show.
There
That's
you
for sure.
go. But the pineapple upside down is
Oh,
my
it's really good.
absolute all-time favorite of.
Yeah. But there's a lot of other things that I made that you liked too.
Oh yeah,
But we don't need to go through that list. Is
We're
there?
gonna have an Evelyn's Kitchen show?
we should.
No, but I've been asked. But I remember when Angela Dowd, who was Richard Mosier's secretary, that
Right,
was the
I remember
superintendent of schools when my children went through. Well, not all of the children, but generally speaking, most of their time frame. And Angela did a show on Chelmsford Telemedia in her kitchen. But the problem is it cost a lot of money to do that, because when you have the show, you have to have whatever you're making in different stages, because the show is like 30 minutes long and something might take 6 hours to make, so, or 3 hours or even an hour. So you have to have it, and then you have to buy all that food so you can show, we're going to put it in the oven, but we're not going to sit here for 30 minutes and wait for it to bake. And so it's one of those things if it was live.
Well, you remember the Julia Child shows. I mean, that's what she did.
Well, yeah, she was Channel 2 when we
Yeah.
only had like 3 stations.
Right. She had stuff at different stages of completeness.
Yes, and then she wrote all those cookbooks, and it was very interesting. There's a lot of. I don't know that I've ever baked or cooked anything that she did. The only thing that I ever remember from childhood that she did was coq au vin.
Well, she was a French cooking orientation. In fact, that was the name of her show, The French
Cook,
Chef.
yeah, the French chef.
And she had studied.
Wasn't the French chef?
Yeah,
Julia Child.
She,
Not
al-
the French cook, the French chef.
she was also in the OSS, which was the precursor of the CIA during World War II. So she was
Heard that.
she was a spy. Okay.
Yep. No wonder she drank all that wine.
Yeah, that's how she met her husband, because he was doing the same thing. And she was very interesting person.
Then you had Keller that came along. He just drank too much wine.
Who?
I forget what his name was. I thought it was Keller.
Then you had the
K-E-L-L.
Frugal Gourmet.
Like yeah.
Jacques somebody or another.
And then there were.
Was it the fruit?
Was it Graham
Wasn't there
Keller?
a galloping gourmet in there
Yes.
somewhere?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
These were all precursors to the Food
I
Network.
used to actually like the cooking shows. Not that I knew that much about it, but I always thought they were pretty
You had the
interesting.
Muppets, you had the Swedish Chef.
The Swedish Chef, the guy with no eyes. Yeah.
I don't know if now that I have to find out. Well, there's Thomas Keller, but I don't think it was he who I was thinking of. But it's not that guy.
But
Anyway, there's a bunch of them.
Getting
So,
back to insurance.
Yeah. We can always talk about food. That's not a problem. What is the favorite thing that you like to eat?
It depends on my mood, really. I don't know.
Well, what's your favorite food this week?
Let's see. Last night we had a Greek salad and chicken wings.
There you go. You can't go wrong with a Greek salad.
No.
Yeah, we went to the barbecue place that was in Chelmsford last night.
Okay.
Because
the
Glenn likes
smoky
barbecue.
in the center.
Yeah, Glenn likes barbecue.
Yeah, that's a good.
I like it,
restaurant.
but it doesn't like me, so I don't eat it. But they have limited choices if it's not barbecue. Smells great in there.
Haven't been in there. We were in Herradura Vieja Monday, and last night I was out at the mill in West Boylston, so. We won't eat
The
out again for a while.
Herradura is, if you like the Mexican food, that's actually pretty good.
Where is that located?
Right in
It's
Summer Street.
Yeah, next
Right
to
in my
Amici's,
in my backyard.
Oh.
Yeah.
across from Lincoln League.
My
Yeah.
buddy doesn't like Mexican food either, but I'll eat it.
But, you know, there are different ways, and these folks, it's not overly hot or overly spiced.
No.
It's a little bit
From
more.
what I've heard, it's very authentic.
Yeah, it's authentic, but it's a lot blander than what you would get in some of these other places. So it's, you know, and they seem to be doing well. I mean, you go by there and, you know, people are eating and, you know, so.
Well, I do so much of my own cooking because I happen to like
I'll
it.
tell you, I've been in town. I moved into Chelmsford in '79, and if you take a look at the number of restaurants we didn't have back then, there were very few places, you know. And now we seem to be in pretty good shape. And that was always, I remember in the early '80s and so forth, that was always a complaint. There aren't enough good places to eat. I mean, you had Bob White's, which is now Princeton Station up in North Chelmsford.
Yeah.
And that's come a long way.
And that was all, but we liked it even back then. We liked the Bob White's.
We didn't have the money to do that. We had
And-
3 small children.
Yeah, well, exactly.
And then you had it was pricey. I don't even remember. We would do Vincenzo's, which is now
Yep.
Rufrino's.
They came in 1980.
So Glenn and I would do that on a date night, as far as restaurants go. But and Zesties was there when we moved in 1981,
Yep.
and now they're over on
Fletcher
Fletcher Street.
They're very good. We
I like their pizza. We always when we get together, if we
Yep.
order pizza, we order it from there.
When we do parade committee, because, you know, if you want to join the parade committee, folks in Chelmsford, one of the features of being a parade committee member is
Food.
we feed you, okay? The meetings start at 6:30 and you eat, and courtesy of the parade committee. And I don't know if that will continue next year, because about half the parade committee has resigned, okay? And that includes people like Lynn and Chuck Marcella that have been doing it since 2006, okay? A lot of institutional knowledge is going to fall away, which is unfortunate, but my wife and I are stepping aside as well, and my wife was the one who was in charge of the food, so I don't know what's going to happen. She wrote down 3 pages of instructions on what to do, how to do it, who to use, blah, 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 and has...
Holiday decorating's in the same boat.
Yeah, exactly
There's
right.
2 people on that committee, and I ain't one of them.
Are they new people?
There's Deb Taverner and John Floria.
So they're fairly new people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you did it for how many years?
I want to say either 12 or 14,
Yeah.
something.
Well,
like
it's
that.
time.
It was a long time.
It's time, you know, people, I hate to be a cynic, okay, but I know the town as well as anybody, and I know the people, all right? And I know how a lot of folks think. So we put on this parade, and I would say the holiday decorating committee falls pretty much into the same category. We put on
Smaller
this,
scale.
we put, right, but it's the same type of a thing. We put on the 4th of July parade. It does not cost the Chelmsford taxpayer 1 penny, okay?
The cops
parade-
come for free too?
Yes, they donate their time, and so do the firefighters.
So the cops marching in the parade are not on the clock?
That is correct.
Very good.
Okay, and so the thing is, it doesn't cost for the parade. It's all funded through sponsorships and donations and so forth. And the cost to put on the parade is about $70,000. Okay, because we have to pay for a lot of the units. The bands are not free; they have to be hired. Okay,
And booked.
and it's a lot of work. But anyway, and then there are other expenses that are involved with putting the parade on. But I'm telling you, you know, if for some reason the parade doesn't happen next year, you know what people are going to say? Why isn't the town putting on the parade? Well, because the town never put on the parade. It was all volunteers. So, Mr. Complainer, are you now telling me that you would like some of your tax dollars diverted to putting on a 4th of July parade? Yes or no? What do you think the answer would be?
Oh, they'll be more upset about trash pickup than a
Yeah,
parade.
exactly. All right. So, you know,
Yeah,
and the
upset about
same
trash
thing
pickup.
is true of the same thing is true of the holiday decorating committee. Like Vivian said, on a smaller scale, these are volunteers, and you like driving through the center of town in December and seeing the tree and the decorations, and you like the programs that they put on, and these are not funded by your real estate tax dollars. This is all volunteer stuff, okay? And a lot of people don't realize that, and they should.
It's kind of like the Arts Technology Education Fund. That is through donations.
Yep.
And if you get a real estate tax bill, this is in Chelmsford, you get a real estate tax bill or an excise tax bill, you have the opportunity to donate to that. It goes to a specific line item.
It's a
It does not go
checkoff,
in the budget. A committee appointed by the town manager runs that budget. We have our own bylaw, we have our own criteria, and our own schedule of which to put out applications to the staff of the Chelmsford Public School System, and then we decide who's going to get money based upon that criteria. If people get the money and they buy things, it becomes part of the Chelmsford School, not budget, but it becomes part of whatever they own, because it is taxpayer money, even though it is a donation. So we are limited with what we can give out. This year we gave out $4,400, which is a big deal for us because we certainly don't get $4,400 in spite of how many people live in Chelmsford and own vehicles in Chelmsford. But if everybody that owned a vehicle gave $1 and everybody that owned...
No, you'd be in Fat City.
We'd have more than enough money, and
Right.
we would be able to do far more than what we've been able to do. We tried fundraising, but in order to fundraise, you need people. And in order to have the people, they need to be invested in what it is you're doing, and we just couldn't do that.
Why couldn't you ask the town to put an insert in the town tax bill?
It is.
It is. That's what
It's
we
been
do.
there for 32 years.
That's what we do.
And that doesn't work?
No. Because, I mean, people do donate, and when we first
Well, the
started,
Chelmsford Business Association brags they pay for the parade.
I understand that, but we couldn't get them to
So
give
when
us
they
any money
brag-
either.
When they brag they pay for the parade, why should I kick in any money?
No, I understand that part where we were talking about ATEF. We did go through and we would do mailings to all the businesses to see if they would donate even $5. We spent more than we got. And then we did advertisements because they have a flyer that goes out, and that didn't work either. And we partnered at one point with a different Chelmsford association, private, that raised money based on the same principle that we had, and they did a spelling bee. And so we worked with them one year and we partnered, but they didn't like the fact we had to split the money. So, and that was an excellent program that they ran, but it took a lot of people.
Well, that's
and
it. I mean,
it was great. Everybody had a lot of fun. There were big sponsorships.
But are you
They
going to
did
get
it
the
very, very well.
Are you going to get the return? So the parade committee for years, you probably remember this, did a raffle.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
by God, was that labor intensive,
okay.
and we just didn't get the return. Okay, that
They
made
used
it.
to mail them out,
Yeah,
remember?
that made it. Oh, we used to have envelope stuff. I mean, it was unbelievable and very, very labor intensive. And again, counting on volunteers to show up and do the work. And it just
You get tired.
we did it for about 5 or 6 years, and then we said, you know what? For the amount of effort that we put in here, it's not effective, and we would do better to concentrate more on fundraising and selling the banners and the sponsorships and so forth. So that's what we did.
It seems to be cyclical. It's like when
Yeah.
it goes away for a little while, somebody else will say, "Why don't we bring that back?" And
Well, I
maybe
hope
you'll
so.
get a new wave.
I hope that's true.
I didn't know where to park. You want me to move it?
You never park in front of the store.
Well, I didn't. I pulled down enough. No, I'll go just move it, because I just wanted to have Vivian to have a place, because one of your other vehicles was where we park.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll let you
Vivian,
guys go. You can
Vivian
talk
and
about
I
insurance.
can carry on, right?
You can.
Okay.
I just didn't know where to go, because
Yeah.
he was telling me not to block.
Down the hill.
So tell us about the new developments in the insurance industry, all of the bad stuff that's going to be visited on people who have to buy insurance.
We just keep on keeping on in that industry, and I mean, yeah, this year was a bad rate year. We're still catching the fallout from that.
Now, what does that mean in terms of rates going up for people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is a function of a variety of events that happen. Will they continue to happen? Yeah. Will they continue to be regulated? Of course. Rates are still all over the place. I suspect they always will be. People are shopping more than ever before. I mean, I do a lot of work on quoting and things like that, and you don't always win them.
So in Massachusetts, and again, I'm going to say stuff, and if it's wrong, I want you to correct me, okay? My understanding is that in Massachusetts, as far as automobile insurance is concerned, we are not a particularly competitive state in terms of insurance. Is that?
That is not accurate.
That is not accurate.
No.
Okay, so please explain.
No, a lot of,
Please
I mean,
explain.
yeah, when, I would say 26 years ago or so, when they opened up competition, and.
Okay, so
because-
my information is 30 years old.
Apparently.
Okay, all right, that's cool. That's why we're having the
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah,
So-
I
so
mean, back
tell-
in the day,
yeah.
every company used the same rates.
Right,
It was
okay.
very easy. They published a book, you did the math,
All
life was
right,
good.
but it's not that way
It's
anymore.
not that way
Oh.
anymore, because at one point, Massachusetts was down to like 14 insurance companies for auto insurance, and that was just crazy.
Mm-hmm. And they had a signed risk type.
They did.
Yeah,
And
okay.
everybody, shared in that pool, and it was not as transparent as it is today.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a whole separate branch called the Mass Auto Insurance Program, where all the high-risk people go, and
Okay.
ironically enough, not all companies participate in it. And
Mm-hmm.
when it was first set up, that was the goal. All the companies would share in the high-risk pool, and they
And
don't do that
and those
anymore.
rates for those people would be high.
They're way high.
Yeah.
What would cost you $1,200 is costing them $3,000.
So-
It's crazy.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So we basically now, for approximately 26 years,
Mm-hmm.
have a competitive market in terms of automobile insurance in Mass, which is,
Right,
again,
and a
my
lot of the
information is
Progressives and
old.
the
When I
Allstates and a
started
whole bunch of other
driving,
different companies to come in.
when I started driving 63 years ago, I got my license. It wasn't that way.
No.
Okay.
No.
So that's good to know. So.
I mean, back when you were a kid, they had 3-year policies that cost you less than $100.
Oh, it was crazy.
It's
And-
unfathomable
But
now.
it was a lot more money if you were under 25. Okay, that was
Always has been.
that. Okay,
yeah.
so that's still the 25 is still the break point.
It's more years of experience driving.
Well, see now that
So
makes
if you
that
get
makes
your
sense.
license at 36 years old,
You're still-
you're still treated
Okay.
the same as an 18-year-old.
But that makes sense though.
Because you don't have the experience.
Exactly.
And,
Well, that's-
Frogger doesn't count.
That's
But if
good.
we make
good to know.
comparisons,
Yeah.
when you were talking about, 60 years ago and how much it costs versus today, or even 20 years ago, or whatever it might be, if you had an accident then, it wasn't the same as today because the cars were made to withstand it. Today, you
was
have
different.
everything is molded. Okay, it's not metal. If something cracks, you got to replace the whole front of the car.
Well, the cars are all unibodies. There are no frames.
Well, even the ones that do, if
Except
they
for
have
trucks.
them, if you have something old enough,
Right.
you hit it. I mean, that's it.
That makes
You
a
could
good
total
point.
a car.
We just
Quick.
had a side view mirror knocked off, just the cowling was knocked off.
Uh-huh.
They couldn't fix the cowling, $1,300.
Oh yeah. Because
everything that's in it.
it's
You
a
got
power
motors and
mirror,
everything
right?
else.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
yeah.
heated, it does all kinds of
Oh
stuff.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Shows TV, yep.
So you had, but the biggest piece is the fact that the material that the vehicles are made out of is not made to withstand an accident at
So
all.
they're made to crumble.
It's
and
made to
that's-
crumple and
Yeah.
absorb energy.
Right.
Exactly, so you
Right.
don't.
So you don't have that impact,
Yeah.
but you also have you pay
You also
for it.
don't have a car at the end.
Right, and over a certain amount, if it exceeds the book value, they've totaled it, and then you gotta take whatever that is and figure out how you're gonna afford another vehicle. So it doesn't work to anybody's advantage for whatever it is that they've done, except that that's the way the industry has gone as far as cars go.
Well,
Now, did John ask you the question about the insurance with Venezuela? Because I had to go move the car.
Yeah, we
And-
did that before the show started.
Well, I warned her of the question I was going to ask in case she said.
Well, go ahead and
not
answer the
today.
question again.
So when you have an earthquake, obviously this is a different country. But if you have the earthquake in this country, because one of the articles I read on Google is what's going on with the San Andreas Fault
Okay.
and the activity levels, and you've got houses being built on it because people aren't paying attention anymore of what they should and shouldn't be doing
God
out there.
help us.
And
That's been happening for a long time.
Yep.
well, yeah, that's not anything new, but if you're not paying attention, it is. So if you have an earthquake, what goes on in this country? Is it different per state, or is it national as far as insurance goes?
I mean, each state is able to regulate their own endorsements and things of that nature, but your basic homeowner's policy, special form, does not cover earthquake unless you have it endorsed. So you have to ask for that coverage specifically.
And what's the deductibles?
It's usually a percentage. It can be 5%, 10%, and they just figure it out when the big one hits.
Okay, so when,
And it's not cheap.
well, that's what I was going to
You
say.
can say here it's not too bad. Other parts of the country,
Yeah,
it's
because
much,
we don't
much
have the
worse.
incidence of the earthquakes.
Right.
Yeah,
We have
but-
minor things, but
Yeah.
nothing.
Doesn't mean we won't
building
get
top
hit.
line.
Now, my father carried earthquake insurance on the house.
Mhm.
It didn't cost a lot, but the deductible was like $8,000.
Easily.
Because
Yeah.
if you have massive destruction, you have massive bill,
Mhm.
a massive bill. Now, you also have differences, so each state might have a deductible or might have a percentage, but in
Right.
Massachusetts, it's a percentage,
For the most part, yeah.
a
most
deductible
companies
of
do
the
that.
percentage. So if you lost your house, like say, to build your house was $100,000, then your deductible would be 10.
Exactly.
They're gonna give you 90.
Mhm.
But will they also give you contents if you've insured the contents? Is that
Yeah.
part of it?
That's part of it, yeah. It's
Okay.
a separate, yeah.
So if you the other part with homeowners insurance is that I have an issue with lately, is that if you make a claim, then your premium goes up.
Of course.
But it didn't used to be like that.
You lose your loss-free credit. They call it a loss-free credit for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
A, it saves you money, and B, you're no longer loss-free.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
we
so,
had,
so if you look at your bill, to explain that, if, and again, jump in and fix what I say if it's wrong. When you look at your bill, you get a figure, and then if you've never had any claims or you haven't had claims for a long time, whatever the period is, they give you a credit, which is what Vivian's talking
Discount.
about.
It's like the
It's
safe driver discount on your
discount.
auto.
So
Yeah.
really, what Evelyn is saying is, if you have a claim, then you lose your discount, because now you've had a claim.
Right.
I get it. It makes perfect sense to me.
And
I
I mean,
understand.
if you have a wood stove, a lot of companies charge a wood stove surcharge, you get a pool surcharge.
Makes perfect sense.
Because that's where the claims are coming from.
well, yeah, those are the liabilities.
Those
It's
are-
sort of like buying because you can't do it anymore, but in the old days, we were talking about cars. You could buy a stripped car, and then you could add
What you wanted.
what you wanted to it. And in some cases, like back in the mid-'60s, it could almost double the base price of the vehicle if you added everything that was available, all right? So that's kind of how your insurance policies are priced.
And now you have
Right?
packages.
Yeah, so, and it makes perfect sense to
I
me.
mean, now they have smart devices,
Yeah.
the Ring cameras, a lot of different things that,
Yeah.
the water leak detection stuff.
Yeah.
And
Didn't exist years ago, but
you
now,
get different discounts for that, and like I say, 90% of homes don't have this stuff, so. But it's there if you want it.
and I like that, and I wish they did automobiles like that still, because there's a lot of junk on my car that I wish wasn't there, all right?
For real.
So
That's the number one complaint
Yeah.
I hear about people that get new cars. They're like, it takes me 6 months to learn how to drive the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so
I
much
still
stuff
don't
here
know.
I don't understand, and
And
I
there's so
didn't
much
want it to begin with,
I
but you
didn't
got
ha-
no choice.
Right, and there's so much computer stuff, and you got to know what to do with
Well.
it and where to. Oh, it's
I
really
just-
something.
I
Some of the
just-
stuff I really like.
I just
It's
got a,
Evelyn's favorite time of the show.
oh, good, okay, here we go.
This little kiddo's missing.
Oh, no.
Olivia Peterson, 17 years old. She's in this area, Lowell, Salem, Chelmsford. She's in this area. So if you see this little kiddo,
God.
she's 17.
How
Call
long,
the
has
cops.
she, how long has she been missing, do you know?
I don't think it says.
Doesn't say?
No, not on that.
Okay. that's
Last
terrible.
seen in Salem, New Hampshire, missing since July 5.
There you go. Ooh, so a few days.
So
anyway.
God bless her. I hope she's okay. Just keep it. If you see that pretty face, call the cops. Dunk tank coming up July 11th. You can dunk the mayor.
Eric Gitcher.
You can dunk a city councilor. So Eric Gitcher's going to get dunked.
In that outfit?
Probably not.
Likely not.
Yeah.
And then Andy Lopez is getting dunked, and Corey Robinson's getting dunked.
Good.
So that's going to be at the Gage Field over in Centerville, 78 13th Street on July 11th. 10 to 4, that's when the dunkings are going to happen. So hope it's a good weather day.
Yeah.
Pottery. If you like pottery, Saturday, July 11th, 11 to 3 p.m., 365 Chelmsford Street, Lowell. A lot of good stuff they're going to make there, and the Pottery Mill is sponsoring this.
Is that a new thing?
I never heard of it.
Like I say, I go down Chelmsford Street every single day. I've never seen this place. Huh.
Interesting.
325. 325 Chelmsford Street. Could be inside of a building.
It's in Lowell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And somebody could have rented it for the summer.
And Evelyn sent this morning. This is for the Parley Farm. You
Yep.
Go see their tractors.
Oh, that's a good take.
And interesting to bring your kiddos out and show them how the tractor works and stuff like that. Pretty good stuff. So that's going to be at 135 Pine Hill Road in Chelmsford, and that's going to be Saturday, July 11th from 9 to 3 p.m.
Parley Farm.
City Hall Clock Tower dedication. This guy has been taking care of the clock. His name is Wally Burns. Taking care of the clock and the clock tower at City Hall for a long, long time. So they're going to have a special dedication day for him. And this is your invitation to attend that. It's going to be July 11th, 10:30 a.m. at Lowell City Hall.
1957 to 1995.
Long
Wow.
time.
That's a long time.
This is coming up in Billerica, July 24th, the Billerica Brawl. Boston Boxing Promotions. It's going to be Friday, July 24th, 7 p.m. And hope to see you out there. Today is the 9th.
Oh, boy.
Today at the Lowell Senior Center, the only rule is you got to be 60 years old. We don't care if you live in Timbuktu, Chelmsford, Tewksbury, we don't care where you live. We'll feed you at Lowell. It's only $2.
Did they drop the age? You said 60, right?
60, yeah.
Okay. Was it higher than that? Or?
It was, my memory has always been 60.
Okay. All right.
It's $2. If you don't have the $2, we'll feed you for free. So today we're going to have barbecue beef.
Sounds good.
So hope to see you over there. These are the trips they're having this month. They have a lot of cool stuff going on. If you get a senior center paid through, they have trips. Almost all the senior centers have trips. So you can get a nice bus ride down to the beach. These are all the trips that are happening in Lowell this week. And Old Orchard Beach they're going to this week. And going down to see the tall ships next week. Pretty cool where the bus will actually drop you off. Don't worry about parking. Don't worry about getting back home. Pretty cool stuff.
Just to make the bus.
$7 ain't bad at all.
Nope.
Splash
You can't
pads.
drive down there for that much.
Splash pads in Lowell are at, sorry,
Splash pad.
right here. Shed Park, Lodotto Park, Armory Park, and Plain Street. They're open, open daily from 12 to 6 every day. I don't think they're open weekends. But
Armory
unless,
Park is nice.
I don't know what the city's new holiday schedule is. There's a lot of rumors floating around about their new holidays, their new days off. The rumor, there's a lot of, I got to get some facts before I chat more about that. And let's see what's going on. Okay. This is for Nick Spinelli, Chelmsford firefighter. They're having a motorcycle ride for him at the Lowell Firefighters Club
On Saturday.
on July 11th.
A lot of stuff going on this weekend.
Yeah.
Sure is, busy weekend.
Yeah, don't complain that there's nothing to do, folks.
And you can ride the bus for free
Yeah.
until September 30th. Back over to you, Ev.
That's a good deal.
So, as far as insurance goes, is there anything else on the horizon? Do you see
Well, I
anything?
wanted Evelyn to bring up, Vivian to bring up, in Iran, all those buildings got bombed. Will the insurance company pick up the tab?
There's a war exclusion.
So if it's a war, how about terrorism?
You gotta buy it. You gotta pay
So
for
that's not including your regular homeowners.
Neither is moving water. You got to add that increases.
Well, it's a thing where we should. That's why I'm bringing it up today. Enlighten the public. They assume, what does homeowners insurance cover?
it. Right, you think your fire, your theft, your wind damage.
You think it's
Vandalism.
covering you for everything.
Right.
So you need to be
And
specific.
nobody reads the 180-page document they send with it.
I do.
So what you do is you send
You
in-
are an anomaly.
This
The way around that
I've
is
been
you
called worse.
you email your agent and you say, is my house covered for terrorism? And when he or she writes you back, yes, you are, you have it in writing. You don't have to read the 600 pages.
You just ask the right questions.
There you go.
But you got to get it in writing and documented, as the case
Well,
may
if you
be.
don't have it in writing, you misunderstood me.
That's correct. I know that. That's why I said that you got to have it in writing. But the other thing is if your house is near moving water, all right. So if you're on a river, you're on the ocean, the water moves. If you're on a lake, it doesn't. Generally speaking, it does not move. I mean, it moves, but it doesn't.
Doesn't flow.
There's no tide.
There's no tide. Well, there's no tide on a river either, but it can rise. So you have to be back so far from a water source. And that includes even brooks, because you may have that one-time 100-year flood like they did down, what was it, in Texas, where all those little girls got killed, is that they built they built cabins because they had never had any issues, and then all of a sudden they did, one time. So you always have to prepare for that one time that there might be a disaster. Now, how far back from a moving water source do you have to be
That's a municipality issue.
for insurance if it's
Yeah.
moving?
I mean, they have different rate categories based on distances. Like in Massachusetts, a lot of the times the companies will say, if you're within 2 miles of the water, we're not writing you.
Wow, 2 miles.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
But that's Massachusetts. But that necessarily wouldn't be, say, Maine or New Hampshire. New Hampshire's a very small.
Yeah, it depends on the company. They decide what they're comfortable writing with, because for a long time, a lot of companies didn't want to write anything on Cape Cod. It all went into the FAIR Plan. Now, I don't know what's changed, but different companies are dipping their feet and allowing certain policies to be written, and it's just up to the company what they want to write.
Right. Well, we haven't had any major hurricanes either in quite a while in New
Usually
England.
it's wind, yeah.
But what a family member found out was that a water event can be a wind event because the wind is pushing the water. But by definition, it's a water event. So unless you have flood insurance, whether you have a hurricane that has high winds or not,
Yeah.
if you get water based on whatever's going on, it's a water event.
There's a lot of back and forth between the companies when things happen too, because a lot of your major hurricanes, there's fights with which company's going to cover you, and yeah.
And then you have FEMA, and depending upon who's in office, you may or may not get any kickbacks with regard to that.
FEMA's tough.
Yeah, so
They're in trouble.
well, there's a lot of stuff in trouble, but that's because the government has overstepped and overspent and hasn't, and there's too much fraud, which is another whole discussion for another day, obviously. So,
What about, let me just follow up on that. Your perspective, how much fraud do we deal with in terms of insurance claims and
that's
stuff?
true.
I'm going to say we attended a seminar on this earlier this year, and they estimate between 30 and 60%.
And fraud being defined as fraudulent claims.
Just
Pretty
or
much.
exaggerated claims.
Okay.
Or, I mean, a lot of people are pushing back on a lot of the street light cameras that you see, and the insurance companies have access to the data that's being collected by these street light cameras.
So be careful what you tell the insurance company, because it's a good bet that maybe they have evidence to the contrary, right? Okay. Good.
So Vivian,
Good to
if
know.
somebody has a question and they're watching this show on a repeat, what's the best number to call you at work?
978-458-6032.
Lowell number.
Yes.
Okay, there you
I'm right
go.
in downtown.
Perfect.
Thank you.
That's easy to remember, 6032.
Yep.
Now, I pulled this thing up for what's commonly thought to, that you have for insurance, and everyone's already talked about a lot of this stuff. Floods, earthquakes, pest infestations, I didn't know that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mold.
You mean if you've
Those
got
things are-
termites?
What does that mean? If
What
your
is that
brother-in-law, pest infestation, does that mean if your brother-in-law shows up, he's a pest, right? No,
So,
Because of what he does.
no, okay.
so do they have a regulation that defines what a pest is?
A lot of the times it's defined right in the policy or case law.
Okay, so,
Sewer backups, look at that. I thought the sewer would be covered.
That's another thing you gotta buy back.
So that's an endorsement.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you're using fancy terms there, kid. What's buyback?
It's an endorsement that you can purchase that will cover that.
Okay, what's an endorsement?
A change to the standard policy. So your
So it's an
policy
additional-
covers this, and you have the option to buy additional coverage to
Yeah.
cover additional exposures.
but see, now it
Perfect.
did say pest damage, but now here it says damage from termites, rodents, or preventable mold is the homeowner's responsibility, yet up above you can actually purchase insurance, so that's extra.
For mold, you can, the companies I write for will allow like up to $10,000 for damage to the home and up to $50,000 for liability coverage. Say someone has an allergic reaction to something in your house.
And that's
That doesn't
standard
even
in the
affect you.
policy.
No,
Oh, you-
that's
that's a-
something, an additional thing
Okay,
they
that's an
offer.
endorsement, all
Your
right.
standard policy won't
Oh, the
go near it.
exclusions.
Okay.
Okay, not
All right.
inclusions.
Right. Right, so
Now-
some things they'll allow you to buy back for a fee. Other things they just do not want to deal with.
Can't get the coverage.
Right.
Now, there's another piece about homeowners insurance and car insurance, is that you have areas of the country where you can own the same thing, but your insurance rates will be different because of crime rates or frequency of weather activity. So, for instance, in Massachusetts, the car insurance rates are higher than that which is in New Hampshire. When we lived in upstate New York back in the late 70s, our insurance on our cars, because of where we lived, was a lot less than Massachusetts, because we were students, and so you insure that way. And a lot of people don't know that. So the house we have in New Hampshire is almost the same as the house we have in Massachusetts, even though the two houses are extremely different because of the finishes. And a lot of people don't realize that when you have your homeowner's insurance, they're going to ask you about the finishes in your house. Do you have hardwood floors? Do you have plaster walls?
And they'll do inspections too.
If they need to.
Yeah, all of them. Around.
Oh, it's
Pretty much they do.
It's
They
value.
do
Everybody's
the
getting an
inspections on new
inspection.
houses, but when
It's
you've had a house for
value-based.
40-something years, they don't usually do that.
It's-
Depends on your agent also, as to what he or she requires. But we had an issue with the house in New Hampshire where we didn't realize that there had been a chimney fire until my chimney guy was putting in extra piping and stuff, the stuff,
liner.
the liners. And we had to put a claim in for that. My rates did not go up. I mean, there was a fire there. So there was a certain amount so that we actually got pretty much it paid for the liner. Because it's a liability to have a fire, obviously, and they'd be paying out more. So it was nice to see that there was at least some logic in what it was that they had applied, and it wasn't like, well, we don't really care about that and we're not going to pay, but if I have another fire, you're going to be paying, because fire is paid for as long as it's not arson. But if it's arson by somebody else, do you get your insurance if it can be proven? Because is it a
There'll
felony?
be an investigation. I mean, if
I mean, I'm not setting any fires.
no, and
good.
I lose
now
too
you're
much.
talking. I mean, if somebody's setting your house on fire, you've got bigger problems, and there's going to be police action involved. And
Well, some of
things
it's
that nature.
vandalism.
But I mean, look at the houses in Bridge Street there, where the guy supposedly threw a cigarette butt into a bush and burnt up 5 houses. Did he do it on purpose?
No, but he's still liable
You know,
because he was irresponsible.
and they I don't know if they actually caught the guy, one of the ring cameras caught the car driving by with
There
the
you
thing
go.
coming out, and yeah, 17 people lost their home? Because these were apartment buildings, and that was a crazy, crazy.
Sam, I got 4
Incident.
of these.
So would the panel rather be behind the wheel of a 1972 Cadillac? This is a bad question to ask me. I'm a
Well,
car guy.
It's not a good question to
Behind
ask
the
me
wheel
either.
of a 1972 Cadillac or a 2025 hybrid vehicle, which is safer in a crash? The hybrid vehicle is safer in a crash. There is no question about it. But I would still rather be behind the wheel of a 1972 Cadillac.
Yeah, it's more impressive.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
Yeah, it's also more comfortable. Go ahead, Vivian. You read this one.
Oatmeal raisin all day long.
Now, do you make them or buy them?
Does Vivian have a
Depends.
favorite cookie?
Depends.
Oatmeal raisin.
Yep,
She said.
that's me.
I like oatmeal cookies.
That's me. My granddaughter Charlotte makes a mean oatmeal raisin cookie.
Well, there
Oh,
you
she's
go.
doing great in her cooking.
Yeah.
They actually made sourdough bread.
There's a good one. I don't actually sell life insurance, but I know for a fact most policies do not cover suicide. The Warren hurricane situations, I'd refer you back to your policy because it depends on what kind of policy you have. Where it's accidental, I would imagine it would,
Yeah.
but like I said, life insurance is not my purview, so I don't know.
I would assume that there's some exclusion under war because massive stuff, you would have no money. The insurance company would have no money in those policies.
Yeah, because I'm not sure.
If a tree falls on a pool during a storm and it damages it during a storm, is it covered? In other words, is the damage to the pool covered?
Most tree endorsements require the tree to fall on a house.
A tree endorsement, I love it.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Tree
I have not
endorsement.
had that situation.
I would say if you
The
have a
pool is
lawyer, it's
technically an other
likely.
structure, so they could cover it. Then you have the situation where, is it a healthy tree? Is it a dead tree? Whose tree is it?
Well, that's it. Is it on your
And
property?
there
Right.
is just so many ins and outs of those claims, and I hate every single one of them. Because there's no clear answer. It's one of those, it depends.
Well, how about we open the can of worms, act of God?
Not covered.
Act of God is
And
not
they-
covered.
and
So
they-
if a
and they can
dead
define
tree,
that.
if a dead tree falls on your house,
But what about if you're? What
it's
about?
not,
If it's-
Sam,
it's
it's
a
important that
maintenance
they
issue.
know this, it's not covered.
But what about if you own a home and you're an atheist, and the clause in the insurance policy says "acts of God"? Can you make a legal argument due to your atheism that there is no God?
Talk about going off on
I'm
a
sorry.
tangent.
I'm not
Oh,
gonna
my
go there.
gosh, this is a riot.
You like that one? I thought you'd like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, because my brain is now working
Yeah, right.
more
right.
than I need to have it at 10 minutes
I'll
a
tell
day.
you, that'd be a field day for the lawyers, wouldn't it?
But if the person
You
signed,
know, if
Yeah.
we research it, I bet that argument has been made.
Oh, I'm sure it
right,
has.
but the other thing
sure it
is if
has.
if the person that has the insurance policy has signed the insurance policy, they have agreed to the terms of the insurance policy.
That is correct.
So therefore,
That
whether
is
they
correct.
believe it or not, unless they have it excluded from their policy, it doesn't matter. So, it's one of those. But there's other ones that are always interesting to people, because we had a tree fall in our backyard.
Oh,
This is a different thing.
yeah,
Can
it
we wait
is.
for this one? Let me just finish my thought, because I really, John, I really like this particular question, because I want to go someplace else with it too. So, we had the tree fall in the backyard. It was not our tree. The tree was rotten, not our tree. The tree was rotten, covered in vines. Okay, tree was growing, but it was because we had that torrential rain and high wind, and it brought it down. So it didn't, the only damage we had was it broke one of my lawn chairs I can never replace, and part of the table. So Glenn cut it all up, used a tractor, pulled it all away. It fell right between two sheds and onto the patio, and didn't do much damage to what was going on with the deck. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a more perfect fall with regard to the tree. However, if the tree is on someone else's property and it falls on your property, who is responsible for getting rid of the tree? You are. If a tree or a limb from somebody else's property falls on your car, your insurance pays for it. If their tree falls on your house, your insurance pays for it. So it's where it ends up, not where it originates from. And a lot of people don't realize that, unless you have a neighbor that is extremely conscientious and helps out.
It's easier to go through your own policy sometimes and let them subrogate against the other person.
That's true.
Evelyn, you didn't cover if your tree falls on your car and your tree was dead.
Well, you pay for it.
You pay for it.
So,
The insurance company does not pay.
If you have comprehensive coverage on your car and a
The-
tree
the
falls
car
on
insurance
it,
pays.
the car insurance will pay.
yeah, it isn't any different than
There's
if
an
you,
if in there, right?
there's always an if.
Yeah.
You have to have the coverage.
It's
You have
an
to
if
have
or- It's an if or a
comprehensive.
but.
Yeah.
So this says, how about if your property is damaged by a homeless individual?
No difference than if your property is damaged by a school kid trespassing.
Right, and it's also
Yeah.
vandalism,
It is.
and then
About
that comes,
migrants.
it's still
Same
vandalism.
thing.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
when they made that question, there was something that came across that I wanted to just bring up real quickly. You have all of these people that want open borders. This has nothing to do with insurance, but
No.
it's the tangent when you have the homeless person doing something, and he talked about migrants. So you have all of this stuff, and then we also had the Supreme Court issue with regard to birthright citizenship. So there was something that came across Facebook, just wanted to share it, and for people to think a little bit differently outside the box, if this is outside the box. If you have a pregnant woman come into your house and give birth and then decide that you have to pay for her and the baby for life, it isn't any different than having that person come into the country and having the country pay for everything also. Now, you can try to get rid of her, but you still have to go through legal means by which to do so. So think about a little bit differently about immigration.
And you can do that, but with the birthright question, it was a question of constitutionality. And whether you like the result or you don't, and this is the issue I have with courts in general, they're supposed to look at what the words say and what they mean in the context of when the provision was written and make a determination. They are not supposed to decide what outcome they would like and then read between the lines to make a determination. And so people need to keep that in mind, because not everybody is going to like every court decision. And if the court decides the way you don't like, it doesn't mean they're a bad court or they're bad people. It means that these people are trying to read the law and they're trying to give you their interpretation of what it is supposed to mean, okay?
Right, but one of the things they didn't do was they didn't take into the historical significance as to why it was put in there to begin with. The second part is they also paved the way for the decision
Now,
that they have to
I don't
have
think
Congress
that,
change it.
I don't think that's true. I mean, when I read Supreme Court decisions, I always read the dissent first, okay? Because if you do that, then you know what to look for in the affirmative decision. Now, Clarence Thomas wrote a 92-page dissent, and it's worth reading.
Bless his heart.
You should read it,
Nah.
okay? He's a brilliant guy. I know a lot of people hate him, okay, because he's a conservative, but he's a brilliant guy. Read the dissent, and this is just my opinion, okay?
Sam, you want to read this one?
His whole argument is it depends on what the word is means, okay? Because he bases his decision on the jurisdictional language in the Constitution, okay? And I think that's a weak argument. I do. Legally, I think that's a weak argument. Just my opinion. Although you should read the dissent, because it is very well done, okay? It's very well done, all right? Okay, you want me to read that
Well,
thing
that had
again?
to do with...
I thought you did.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
it's a great show, and
Yeah.
don't use a wire brush on a grill.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, yes.
Right,
I've
so
heard
there's
that.
sponges, there's all kinds of things, because the wire comes off and can get in your food,
Well,
and then you can eat it.
brings in a
And you have a
liability.
piece of wire
They
in your
having a
stomach.
cookout at your
In 30
house.
years, I've never
Yeah, you
had
got
that happen.
liability. I never did either.
I use a brush that's,
Never mind.
Teflon?
it's some kind of fabric, it's not wire.
Right, so what John wanted to say was there's a certain amount of liability, you're having a party at your house, and you do that, and somebody gets a piece of metal in that, they could sue you.
Are we covered, Vivian?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah.
So-
So you could argue there was negligence because there was
Yeah.
metal in your food.
There you go.
So we, we have a very small amount of time left, but you also wear hats on different committees. Is there anything to report on any of the different committees that because it's summertime and sometimes they don't meet?
It is. I mean, CPC just gave a couple of positive recommendations on some housing projects that'll go before
And
town
CPC
meeting.
stands for,
Community Preservation Committee.
okay.
Yeah, CPA, Community Preservation Act. So
There you
it's
go.
money to improve affordable housing. That's what that was all about. Conservation's got a whole bunch of things going on there, reservations and land management and things like that. They're really keeping up with all that. They got a number of hearings that keep getting continued. They'll get there. One of them is
It's like the planning board.
yeah, and a lot of them are running tangent to each other, so it's like, okay, we'll get there. Permanent building, I haven't been to a meeting lately.
I
know
missed
that's
the other one
Evelyn's
because
thing.
I had an issue. I had those
And then,
bee stings, I couldn't walk.
Yeah. And then Parker School, they
That was
got a
last
whole
night.
bunch of support from the MSBA to move forward with a project to rebuild that school.
Did they have an
Now they're
open
into
meeting
Last night.
last night on the school project?
Wasn't it last night?
No.
Is it next week? I thought it was
It's,
July 10th.
July 16th is
Oh,
their
okay.
next meeting.
Okay, all
They
right.
had an open session on June 10th.
Okay, that's
Oh,
what I-
June
I-
10th.
That's what
yeah,
I'm thinking.
I missed
Okay,
that one.
yeah. I thought it
was
said
a
July,
Wednesday,
and I
had
was like,
something else to do. So now they're in the design phase on that, and Historic District does not meet in July, so they'll get back to it in August, and that's about it.
Yeah, summer is generally light for
Yeah.
board
And
meetings.
we were going to talk also about the new town manager, but we're going to run out of time.
Well, you got 4 minutes.
Well, you can talk about it if you can
What do you want me
make
to
it
say?
concise.
He came from Andover. We know
Right.
that.
Okay,
So
very-
it wasn't
very-
a Lowell son,
Yep.
and his name is?
His name is Alex McGee. That's Magee, and I will give you just quickly as I can. I was on the selection committee, and we boiled through a number of applications, and we interviewed folks, and we boiled it down to 2 finalists.
Can you say how many applications you got?
I don't think I'm supposed to because that was all done in executive session. Okay, but we got a good number of applications.
No, just a second, Sam.
Yeah.
You've already elected the guys, so the executive session, the sun has
They
gone down.
haven't been
with it.
released
No,
yet.
they have not been released yet.
They got to be released.
So but anyway, it was a good number of applications, I will say that. And we interviewed a good number of people from the resume, and we boiled it down to the 2 folks that we thought were the most qualified, and so forth. And it turned out to be Mr. McGee and a fellow by the name of Thomas Gregory, and that is now obviously all public information. And Mr. Gregory is the current town manager in Hudson. Mr. McGee was working at deputy town manager in Andover. And we advanced those 2 folks to the select board that makes the decision. They hire the town manager. They interviewed the folks Monday night, and at the conclusion of the interviews, they decided to call McGee. Now, Mr. McGee, benefit is that he lives in Westford. He's only 10 minutes away from the town, and he already is invested in the town because he serves on the board of directors of a Chelmsford nonprofit organization. All right, so he's already somewhat invested in the town, and because he lives so close by, he has over the years attended many events in Chelmsford. The 4th of July parade is something that he likes to go to, and he is extremely enthusiastic about coming to
Just
Chelmsford.
barge in here with us tomorrow. The
Yep.
host is going to be Cliff Krieger. Eileen Del Rossi is going to be here. Regina Fadicati is going to be here. Now, I know you had secret squirrel meetings and you can't talk about it, but can you speak to the salaries the guy's going to get? And how long is his contract for?
Well, we don't know. They're working that out now, but the position, I believe, was advertised. The salary range was, I think it was 190 to 230 or something, depending on the person's level of experience, right. And that's consistent with the market.
And we may know more next
yeah.
week. So we
I
can
think that,
continue
yeah,
this next week.
I think I'm going to guess that the contract negotiation will be done fairly quickly. And I think Evelyn's right. We may know something by next week.
And then next week on Thursday, I have you scheduled Sidney Lang, so city councilor, so he'll be our guest next week, and then we'll see what happens the following week. There's a bunch of other stuff for people to watch in Chelmsford, and one of it is they have established colors for all the different ballots. It's now color-coded.
Yeah.
So we'll talk
What if you're
about that
colorblind?
next week. It'll be interesting to see the condition of
The
Mitch
Democrats
McConnell.
have blue ballots now.
They
That's
do.
a good idea.
Yep, and so there's also a list of the Democrats and Republicans that are in Congress that were not born in this country but were elected to those offices. So it'll be interesting to take a look at that list along with a bunch of other stuff that I'll come up with. So
And
we
we'll
will
see you tomorrow.
Yeah, everybody stay
There we
safe.
go.
Thanks for watching.
Stay cool.
Yeah, they're
Thank
good.
you very much.
Waltham American.
Now they're from Waltham, but apparently they draw members from Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. So. Well, here comes the float from Lamakia Realty. It's got 14 offices throughout the state, including one right here on North Road that opened 6 years ago. Their float is called Home of the Brave.
We had so many great floats this year. It was hard to pick a winner.
And we appreciate Lamakia being a sponsor again this year. Great float. Thank you.
And yet another float coming up. This one's for Chelmsford Youth Wrestling. They've got a long history